As I said the other day, my friends, Charlie Kirk was taken. I mean, she set him up, set her sights on him, and let him have it, and took him for all he was worth. And then ultimately, I want to discuss something with you, my friends, on this Thursday night. Please let me remind you to please like this video. That's all I'm going to say. You know the routine, but it makes a big difference to like the videos. I'm going to say something obligatorily, which I think people have to say. I don't know why, but people do. I think a lot of kids sometimes, a lot of people have, they used to call it premarital sex. Remember that when you were a kid? Premarital sex. It sounded almost like it was some kind of almost an official decree or something. It was premarital sex. You see these kids today with their premarital sex. And when I grew up, I never, ever heard. I guess maybe some people did, but I never heard that there was this thing you had to have to preserve yourself. You must preserve yourself. And I'm going to say something. I think the rules should be, and I think kids in particular should know, you're under no hurry to do this. You're under no compunction whatsoever. Don't feel like you have to have sex early just because it's a rite of passage or something. If you're not ready for it, by all means, don't involve yourself. It's very, very, very serious in terms of the emotional, especially if you're a woman, it's a far different than if you're a man. But I think that we speak of it in a way that is so ridiculous. I don't even know what they're talking about. Okay. Now, again, I'm not trying to go against the grain and say it doesn't matter, but they make it sound like it's the end of the world, or if you somehow were to give in to the temptations of the flesh before you're married, you won't be able to know. You'll save your special look. This is where somebody should have sat down with Charlie and said, look, I'm not going to tell you what to do. And if this is your religion, but that gal is as experienced, as we say, as the day is long. Froth. Look at this. Okay? If you can't look at her and know right away, this girl's been around, then you're not paying attention. Now, when I say been around, I don't even think that I am not of the suggestion that you are contaminated, you are spent, you are evil. Hope you're well, Lionel. Thanks, Stephen Salty. I hope I'm well too. Thank you very much for that, dear friend. Did you happen to see Charlie they're asking him about sex before marriage, and she's sitting there like this, and that's why he said, and that's why it's important to save yourself before married. Right, honey? Huh? And she was saying, and to know Jesus. Huh? Oh, yeah, right. Well, right. Well, as I was saying, it's important to not have sex before you're married, right? And to find Jesus. Would you lay off? I'm not talking about Jesus. Did you have any Jesus is a very important. Jesus is just all right with me. I think the Doobie Brothers would say, did you see this? Did you see this? It was, it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. And the other day I've been telling you and telling people that as far as I know, that he was a guy who wasn't, quote, very sophisticated, whatever sophisticated means. Because you don't have to have, there's people who have sex before they're married. It's not sophisticated. But I've got news for you. And I want to ask you a very, 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 very serious question. Would you advise your son, On how old was he when he got married? 30? I don't even know how old he was. What was he? 30? Who knows? Let's assume 30. Would you advise your son, be honest with me, and whatever your answer is, it's okay, to say, stay away from sex until you're married. Have one person, one woman, that's it. That's it. Would you? Would you? Be honest with me. Your son. Let's start with your son. Would you? Hey, Dad. Do you want your son 30 years old? Let's just assume. How old was he when he got married? Would you? Would you? You would sit there and say, don't have sex, son. Don't. Don't have sex. Ooh. No, don't. Don't. Now, would you advise your daughter to wait? Would you? I'm serious. I am serious. Look at that froth. Man. Would you? Come on. What happens if a woman has sex before she gets married or a man has sex? What happens? What do you think happens? What is this? What happens? See, nobody, remember, bottom line is you can have sex, not have sex, whatever it is. You do whatever you think is right. But would I advise my son, hey, don't do that. What is it, Dad? Don't have sex. What? Don't. Wait till you're married. One woman, that's it. Or your whole life. Okay. Is that possible? Sure, it's possible. It happens all the time. Happens all the time. Charlie suggested that if people have more sex, or if people have a series of, quote, partners, they make it sound almost like it's some kind of like an assembly line, that they have a greater tendency to cheat than somebody who doesn't. What? Look, I'm going to tell you something right now. And we're going to put Charlie aside. We'll get to him in a moment. But this idea of not demonizing, but scaring people. Sex can be very bad. Like I said, very, very scary because of the emotional part. And women, especially if they're too young, can feel used because it was a big deal put on you're losing your virginity. And when did you lose your virginity? I lost my virginity to a carnival worker named Gabby. You know what I mean? Just, okay. And I've heard this my whole life. I don't think people are putting it into perspective. It's important, but it's not that important. It's not the end of the world. I don't want some girl feeling that, God forbid, she has sex before she gets married, that she's what? Some tart, some wastrel, some strumpet, some trollop. Somebody say, "Oh, you're soiled. Oh, you're used." What? He's got to marry a virgin. What is this? A 14th century? This doesn't make any sense to me. That could be more dangerous than being too loose, as it were. This is when I say, look, you do what you want, but let's do a couple of things. Let's put things into perspective right here. I would be much more interested, Charlie, in the fact that you're marrying a nut than you're marrying a woman who's had other men before. She's a nut. If you can't see this, we got to talk about that, son. Not the fact that she's had sex. That doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. Do you know how many, when people are older and they find, listen, after a while, let's say you're, I don't know, you're divorced or you're whatever, and you're going to meet other people roughly your age. Some of them are married, they have kids, whatever it is. Does that really matter? Does it really matter to you? Seriously. Do you really think, I can't believe that. I can't get past the fact that she's been with somebody. Oh, seriously? I think it says a lot about you. This is where I don't get. Remember, do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. But the problem that was missed about this whole thing is that what Charlie should have said is he should have realized Charlie, you're acting like a big shot up here in front of a love you man, but you're trying to act like an expert in front of talking to kids about women. You're marrying a nut. You're missing the fact that you're marrying a full-blown, bona fide, absolute psycho. What is the matter with you? And you're worried about this? What is your... That's what we should be talking about. We should be telling our young men and women, you are going to be marrying, and there's more psychos out there because there's more completely screwed up people who are depressed and have anxiety and they're taking CBDs and they're taking medication and they're walking around in pajamas and slippers. You better make sure that the woman that you're going to be marrying is not some first-class lunatic. That's the problem you got to worry about. It's not the fact that people have had sex. That's not the issue. The issue more than anything else is the fact that you're marrying some kind of a lunatic. That's the problem. We have people today in this country who are crazy, absolutely, positively nuts. And let me tell you something. The very fact, and this is sad to say, the very fact that people are actually looking at this woman and not recognizing the fact that she is out of her tree blows my mind. Blows my mind. Okay? And the reason why it blows my mind is we have to sit down and talk about some stuff which nobody wants to talk about. Okay? And I'm telling you, the reason why nobody wants to talk about it is the fact that we're missing a couple of points. Now, number one, we're living in a world right now of very immature people, very strange people. Raul says, what venture will Candace pursue after Erika TPUSA kerfuffle is over? What venture? Venture? Well, first of all, the next is going to be Tyler. By the way, realize this? Do you realize that all we had to do, and all they had to do for the entire part of their life, or for TPUSA, is for somebody to tell Erika, you're not going to be the CEO. You can be married to Charlie. Remember, she could be married to Charlie. Nobody would care. You can be the CEO. When you became the CEO, that changed everything. You can be married to Charlie. You can be whatever it wants. Nobody cares about this. You're just married to Charlie. You're just married to Charlie. She hasn't done one CEO thing yet. I'm going to say this again. This is the most important thing in the world for you to understand and grasp. Had she just said, I'm just going to be kind of in the background, Candace would have cared nothing about this because she would have had no standing. What would Erika have had? Nothing. She's the wife. Then truly she would have been the widow. Then she would have been the poor widow that people should be stopped talking about. You understand this? Do you understand this? She asked for this. She put herself into a position in which everything changed drastically. Incredibly drastically, terribly. Do you understand what's happening? Do you understand what's happening? If it wasn't for that, but because she became CEO, or because supposedly they have a tape, which Candace has suspected it might be AI or something, where she says, I want my wife to do it. No. So that goes to show you. So remember something. If you don't like this, Erika, if you don't like any of this stuff, you don't like the screaming and the yelling, whatever it is, all you had to do was not be CEO, or all you have to do is step down to CEO and it's moot. Then you become the widow. Then they'll leave you alone. But she won't do it. She won't do it. We are finding out, who knew, I didn't, that this woman was going to be the most insane person anybody's ever seen. That draws out the latest that Candace found out, where what, the DOD or the White House or somebody said, hey, can you play that thing back? We have a picture for walking by. We need to amp up that volume. What is going on here? And by the by, you may not be interested in this, but I hope you're watching what's happening in China right now, because It will blow your mind. Marco Rubio's threatening China. You better watch. There's going to be repercussions. Marco Rubio. Watch J.D. Vance try to turn around and spread the dirt about how Marco Rubio pisses these people off. I'm telling you right now, we are living in a world that is run by lunatics and very stupid people, and people who spend their time watching Fox News, people who really, really, honest to God, do not understand how this thing works. I am telling you, it never see. They are still they're still talking about this is COVID and all these other people. These ridiculous things about Candace, whatever. All you have to do is get rid of her. Just have her step down. If there's no Erika, there's no problem. Unbelievable. And now you've got this ridiculous story of going back to Brigitte Macron. You've got Emmanuel, who they say if he's a Finoke, I don't know. Candace seems to be pretty adamant. I'll put my money with her. And then you've got E.T., who's basically, this is the wildest time I have ever seen in my life. Come on in. If you want to be a part of this and be a part of our journey, part of our fun, please join us. Because the best part about it is that you don't have to know anything. Nothing. But if you've ever liked soap operas and crazy people and weird personalities, let me introduce you to Erika. She is there's no end to this. No end. And they're digging up stuff. And please, I'm watching Charlie and I say, Charlie, stick to your stuff. But I don't think people recognize the fact. They should have, I told you about this. There's one thing that Charlie should have been talking about, and others as well. If you marry a lunatic, men or women, a nut, a drug addict, an alkie, a compulsive spender, a hoarder, somebody who is so screwed up, who hid her idiosyncrasies. I got to tell you a true story. One time when I was doing a talk show, I kind of made something up, sort of made it up a little bit. I said, listen, if you're on a first date, and if you're at her place, excuse yourself and go to her, use her restroom and look in her medicine cabinet. Look at her medications. See what they have. People never hide medications. People never do. We went to a party one time in this place. It was so funny. They had this very nice place, and it was kind of like a housewarming. And on their beautiful marble, whatever it was this big industrial-sized bottle of Marilax. It's a stool softener. Right there. They had used it so much they didn't realize it. I thought, oh my God. Another one, when you went to the John, you ever go to somebody's John and they got magazines and they've got the plunger books. It's like, dear God. And they also have these wipes that you can flush and think, oh my God. Can you move this? You've got every magazine. Wow. So anyway, people they forget. And when it comes to medications, they leave them all out. Look at this. You will soon realize Trump is the serpent of the poem he read. All happening now is meant to bring in AI control you haven't seen yet. Don't know what that means, but it's interesting. Thank you. So I said to this, I was on the air, I said, so what you do is you go to this woman, whatever, and look at her in her medicine cabinet and see what she's got. She's got a lot of, anti-herpes stuff, not acyclovir, that's for organ rejection, but cyclosporin, whatever the heck it was. But for herpes or for any kind of, a lot of, if you see a lot of, antidepressants, a lot of laxative, eating disorder. I said, the medicine cabinet, that tells you everything. So I went and I said it, kind of in part in jest. A little while later, guy calls back. He says, remember when you told me to do this? He goes, yeah. He said, well, I did it. And all of a sudden I go in there and I open up the medicine cabinet and I hear this, and she had an alarm on for her son. And she says, are you looking in my medicine cabinet? He goes, no, I caught my sleeve. And he goes, oh, okay. So what Charlie should be saying and what others should be saying is make sure you're not marrying a cyclovir. That's right. Make sure you're not. See, you knew about that herpes, didn't you? Make sure you're not marrying a nut. Take a woman who's had 100 sex partners, but is calm, sweet, nice, friendly, sober, sane, not screwed up, not with a screwed up family. Oh, yeah. I never talk about that. The family. Who's your family? My father said, you don't marry her, you marry the family. I heard this years ago. What does that mean? So I've been very, very lucky. How many of you folks have met your husband or your wife is married to this batshit crazy lunatics, a bunch of trailer trash, just sick, weird, horrible people? Did you know that? Did you marry some woman who's on the phone with mommy and daddy all the time, telling mommy or the sisters everything you do? There's no privacy. Or you're expected to go over it every week. Well, it's Sunday dinner. I don't want to go there. Well, it's a tradition. For you, it is. I didn't know about this. Charlie should have talked about that. Did you ever do a credit check on somebody? Ho, ho, ho. How many of you have ever done a credit check? How many? Never. Why would you think that? She'd been bankrupt 3 times. Charlie should have talked about that versus having your, I'm sorry. This business about having sex, that's no problem. Listen, I'd rather have somebody who had a very normal, rational, healthy sex life, who wasn't a strumpet or some kind of a prostitute, than somebody who's got sex problems and hang-ups. Because she's got another thing too is, I'm sorry to say this, but sometimes people have said, I've never had sex before. Oh, that's good. Well, not really, because I'm afraid, because I was hurt, or I'm damaged, and I'm not trying to make light of it. See, that's where people don't want to talk about the truth. They don't want to talk about the truth. They don't want to sit down and explain things. When you're going to get married, Charlie, most people, is it going to be a joint checking account? Whose job is it? Are you supposed to pay the bills and that's it? She's going to run. Is she staying home? Is she working? And Charlie said, most people should stay home. Don't be a tart and keep a hat on it. Okay. Thank you so much. It's Salty Steve, by the way. Shall I go on? Oh, Do you think that the husband's job is your job to go on to I don't know, Amazon? Are you are you a hoarder? Are you some kind of a weird, do you have an eating disorder? Do you have some kind of a weird thing where you buy stuff you don't need? The old days, remember when QVC, did you ever have somebody in your family that was into QVC? Oh, I've seen that before. It's like, what are you buying? What is this stuff? People forget what they bought, and you get this, it comes to the house and go, what is this? It's a moo series. A moo. What is a moo? Well, I got 12 of them in different colors. What about raising your kid? How are you going to raise your kid? Do you have a different faiths? Is that it? What's the story? What's that all about? I'm telling you right now, I saw this the other day and I saw Charlie, who doesn't know anything. Look, he knows scripture and he was a smart guy. And by God, we're going to get to the bottom of who killed him, because nobody else seems to care. Candace cares. Barron cares. I care. You care. We all care. Numbnuts over there, Ditz, the wicked Ditz of the West, she doesn't care. She has no clues of what's going on. No clue whatsoever. None. She has no clue. No interest at all in any of this stuff. It's incredible. I mean it. It's a very, very, very strange thing. And there she is being heralded and lauded as all this kind of stuff. Let me tell you something. I think very, very frankly, and I mean this sincerely, that before we worry about learning the scripture and meeting with the pastor, which is great, I don't mean to knock it, you better ask some real serious questions. Because I've seen this so many times. You've seen it. You know what's going on. You know what's happening. Okay? I feel so sorry for Charlie. He never had a chance. He never had a chance. It was like he was targeted by these sick bastards like almost immediately. He never had the chance to grow and to be alive and to be whatever you want to call it. He never had the chance. Never had the chance. It was brutal what they did to him. And nobody's still talking about that. Nobody. Okay? And then when I hear people still talk about, well, it's, and I told you this the other day, what you're going to be seeing more of. People are asking us to disavow Candace because of this stuff. You see, sometimes life gives us the chance to talk about real serious things, real important things. And one of the biggest things we have to talk about is, in addition to this, is people who use religion as a fraud. People who use the good book and the good Lord. This goes back from snake oil to Elmer Gantry to Face in the Crowd to Faith Healing to Benny Hinn to you name it, to Ernest Angley. These people are frauds. Have you seen that Paula White? Umpakataka, umpakatakalaka. What the hell is that? I'm speaking now in tongues. No, you're not. What is it? Utakapakataka. It's like Latka Gravis, but with a Tarzan theme to it. Did you see this one? This is the stuff which is absolutely positive. This amazed me. And the president took her on as his spiritual advisor. Nobody's talking about that. Why doesn't TPUSA or Charlie talk about that? If you can't see through that, there's no hope for you. Does anybody believe that? Anybody believe in Paula White? Anybody? Do you believe in glossolalia? Upatakapaka, tatakakaka. Odapaka. It's caca, all right. And nobody, the guys in the white coat didn't come and say, you're coming with us. We're sedating you and we're doing involuntary observation. You're out of your tree. This is ridiculous. Anybody talking about that? No. Nothing. We're talking about other stuff, which is crazy. No, I saw this today, and I think that I've been telling you, and you know this as long as you've known me. I said there should be a class for people getting married to be able to identify crazy people, and not everybody who claims to be of faith or whatever is on board with reality. Most people are. A lot of people aren't. Am I making sense? Am I making sense? Do you understand this? Are you, let's go see what's going on here. Do you honestly believe, do you believe this? Do you believe that God, the Holy Spirit, is talking to her in this phony, baloney, fake African speech that doesn't exist? And you can take all of the linguists, you can go to the UN, recorder and say, anybody recognize this? No. No, what is it? It's the devil or somebody. They should excommunicate her from this. She gives religion and faith a bad name. Absolutely. So let me ask you something. What do you think we should do? What do you think I should be? What should we do with people? All right? If you met this Erika Kirk, what would you say to her? I love to say, at long last, do you ever get tired of lying? Do you know that there is not one thing I believe her saying? Nothing. I don't believe anything she's ever said. Did you hear this story? As the British would say, bollocks. Did you hear this story where she said, when Charlie and I were on our honeymoon, and she's getting the Hillsdale, the whatever it was, the honorary, whatever. When we were on our honeymoon and we were discussing the raising of the children on your honeymoon, and I talked to our pastor, God, Jesus, God. If I said God, she has like a pitch counter. She has God, God, Jesus, God, Lord, Jesus. I don't believe a word she said. I don't believe Charlie said, hey, Charlie, what are you doing? He brought the bat phone with him. We said no phones, but we had one bat phone, special phone in case it was an emergency. And he had to watch it because he was taking a class. And I'd say, Charlie, tell me about Benjamin Franklin. I don't believe a word she said. Not a word of it. She can't tell the truth. Let's talk about that, Charlie. Who cares about her sex habit? Which is, she's a liar. She's delusional. How did you miss that? You think what? She got like this now? You mean to tell me she wasn't acting like this before? You mean to tell me in the course of her just getting to know her, when all of a sudden she said, hey, I'm a Christian. And I wanted to go and learn and have she always locks herself in. She always says, I locked myself in. And I called a friend of mine, and it was a Bible course, and I wanted her help. And I didn't know what to do. So I said, full of shit. You're lying. Did Charlie miss that? This is the part. She's a full-fledged lunatic. I don't give a damn about her sex life. Maybe, listen, I'm going to say something to you, and you're not going to like this, but you're going to agree with me. If you meet some 30-year-old dude and he's never had sex before, I'm going to say, sit down. Something I should know about? Is there something I should know about? Really? Do you know what that means? See, this is where there were people, you don't really have like sometimes the real hellfire and brimstone, the Southern Baptists, they were really serious. Remember the old joke to say, why don't Southern Baptists ever make love standing up? Looks too much like dancing. They would have no drinking and no dancing. Dancing was like the worst, and music and dancing. And oh my God. And remember the movie Carrie? Who was the woman, but not Piper Laurie, who was the one who played Carrie's mother? Oh my God. Remember that one? That was a bit extreme. But I've always looked at and loved people who take it extremely. Self-flagellating. The Iranians used to do it. They used to take and whip themselves like a cat o' nine tails and bleed. The Filipinos who would impale themselves on a cross. I mean, just this, people who do a Hajj, people who will make treks, that fascinates me. And as long as you're in control, it's a beautiful and it's a wonderful thing. And everybody has their own way of expressing their communion with their God, and that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. But I don't know when you're saying, let me ask you something. Do you really think, let me ask you this. I think it'd be great, if at all possible, for children to be homeschooled. I really do, provided you can do this. Because I've got some people and I'm thinking, you're going to homeschool them? That's right. Well, I don't know about this one. Maybe public school might be better than you because your wife is a moron and she's going to homeschool them. I don't know if this is a good idea. But anyway. But sometimes people don't have the money to do that. And sometimes it takes a lot. It takes a lot. And when Charlie said, I think women should stay home and not work. Now, I think ideally that's great. But a lot of people were saying, I have to do this. It kills me to do this. Let me ask you something. Do you think people know how expensive it is to have a kid? Anybody price kids today? Anybody? Charlie should be talking about that. Have you ever priced it? Have you ever seen? Do you know what it's like? Do you remember when you were a kid and they would put you in this metal? We had this like metal stroller. It was the minimum amount of aluminum and a strap that you could use with a couple of wheels on it and that's it. It was like, what is this? It could, you put it this way, you know, those shopping cart things you push, they were more plush than our stroller. Remember that? You bend over and that was it. That thing lasted, it cost nothing. Today, you know what a good pram costs? Oh, you got a pram. You got to take the seat inside that and you put it in the back seat and you got a monitor to watch the baby and it takes you 25 minutes to clip them in. That costs a fortune. A fortune. Baby food. You want to go through just the if you want if you breastfeeding, great, but if you go through regular, formula, this and that, and then it's just, what are you talking about? And that's one, and you want to have a bunch of them. I know one guy's got 5 kids, 5, and it's beautiful. Don't care, she's crazy, more. What does it say? Don't care, she's crazy. More PST, it's thrown in our face. More PST, it's thrown in our face. I don't know what that means, but thank you. What does that mean? What does that mean? I have no idea. But thank you. I think we should do a lot more things. We should talk to Charlie should talk about people about not having kids. Not having kids. I'm also going around in schools and telling people about this thing called contraception. Nobody wants to talk about that. Oh, no. Abstinence, my ass. I don't want anyone. There's too many kids that can't be taken care of. Too many kids being raised by crazy people, by children. Weird. And a lot of people who think it's just another meal ticket, because the more kids you have, the more assistance you get. You know how that works. Oh, listen, if I ran it, they wouldn't want me on TPUSA. No. Because I believe in telling you the way it is. Not the way it should be, not the way it's theoretically, but the way it is. And I'm telling you, we've got it completely backwards. Not everybody should have children. There are people who, not that I would do it, but they should be sterilized because they're mutants and they're sick and they're so up that they're going to pass on this depravity to this and this weird to these kids. Now, I can't do that, and I don't want the government ever to do it, but not everybody should have kids at all. Period. End of discussion. This idea that, no, I have a bunch of kids. Wait a minute, hold it. And there's also something weird when you have like the Osmonds, Bobby Kennedy. What do you have, 9, 10, 15 kids? What the hell is that about? What is this, the Mexican mentality? Macho, look how many kids I've got. We've got to talk about this, Charlie. Bless your heart. Not whether your wife has sex before she got married. That's the least of the problem. That's the least. That's the thing which is, there better be something. There used to be things in the Catholic Church called, pre-Cana. Pre-Cana. The priest would give instructions. The priest would give instructions. Or they'd have a family that would talk about it. I think to myself, okay, at least they're talking about it. Nobody wants to talk. Nobody wants to talk about that. We should go into classes and tell kids, if you get some girl pregnant and you're in the money, it's over. It's over. It's great when you're married. You're not married. Oh. And you didn't think this thing through? You didn't think this thing through? This is where I don't understand how anybody can say, no, preach abstinence. Yeah, okay. All right. We teach people not to speed, but we have seatbelts. We teach people, gun safety. We teach people a lot of stuff. See, all I want more than anything else in the world is I want realism. I was listening today to people talking about China, and I'm thinking, do they have any Do they know the Belt and Road Initiative? Do they know anything about what China's doing? No. Nobody knows anything, whether it's about Charlie, whether it's about TPUSA, whether it's about the Republicans, whether it's about China, whether it's about anything. Nobody knows what they're talking about. It's the most bizarre. Did you see? Oh, have you seen Monica Crowley? You know who she is? She was there. Erika and not Erica. Oh, sorry, Erika. Eric. And Monica Crowley's like, what is she like? She's the Letitia Baldridge. Like she's like the queen of ceremony or something. Here we go. Step this way. What is she doing there? Have you seen the name of the young girl? There's this new person. I forget her name, but she's like, she has complete access to the president's phone. She's like up all the time. She tweets for him. I mean, this is wild stuff. Did you see this? I'm changing the subject. Did you see when Xi Jinping, did you see this? Did you see this? Did you see, and Xi Jinping is a big dude for Chinese. I don't know where he's from, but he's big. He is such an ardent communist. He was glad when they took his father and his parents into custody. He said, serves them right. This guy is a badass. Nothing we've ever seen before. And in 1949, in China, they were eating dirt. Look at them now. So did you see this? Go back and watch when Trump walks up. He's like this. I think he practiced it. His hand was out like, one thing I do is like a Vulcan death grip. He was like ready. Come on, Don. Give me that famous pumping handshake of yours. Do it. And she was ready. And man, he got him, and you could see their hands like locked. Donald couldn't move. I mean, couldn't even give him one of those. He was like, any questions? Wow. And the first thing he said was, there's going to be some big problems. Taiwan is the red line. It's going to be big problems. I'm warning you. This is his hello. Did you see this? Did you see this? Oh my. And little Marco Rubio saying, hey, it's going to be hell to pay. What was that, little boy? What was that? Huh? Marco, not now. What was Elon Musk doing there? He's got that kid back, X. You know, some people say he's got like 50 kids. You heard that? I don't know if it's true. But it's like they say he's got like swarms of kids. Why is he there? What did they bring him like Tim Cook for? What is this? Are we supposed to impress him? Do you know what they can do with Chinese has the social credit system. Chinese has surveillance. Chinese has police precincts in New York City. They're so sophisticated. And do you know what we can't use for all of our weapons that we need? Rare earth metals. And where's that going to come from? And by the way, the Strait of Hormuz. Anybody looking at, any of you guys been out looking for oil, cans of oil, Pennzoil, and all this stuff? You go to Costco into the oil section. Wait till you see those start to go. This is serious shit here, my friends. This is real serious. And the reserves are wearing out. Cuba, they're out. They're out. And we use so much of ours during COVID. But if you watch Fox News, everything's great. Everything's terrific. You see, everywhere I go, there's somebody lying to me, or there's somebody telling me not really the truth. I got Erika who was like, save it, honey. Save your breath. I don't believe anything you're saying. Whatever the time of day, I don't believe it. Where you are, the fact that you're sitting in front of me, I don't believe it. I don't believe you. I don't believe anything you're saying. Nothing. I don't believe anything. Get out of here. What are you here for? What are we doing? And then when I saw the thing about Charlie, oh, God. Parents, you better sit down with your kids and say, I'm going to talk to you about something. Daughters, sons, lay it out. Parents don't talk to people. Parents don't. I knew about sex and babies my whole life. My whole life. I don't remember ever. And there was this, when I was a kid, it's very interesting. I remember one time I asked my mother, I said, where did this, I forget how old it was. She remembers the story. She was painting a room. I kind of remember this, or I remember the story, but she said she was painting. And I asked a question. She got off of the ladder, and she had a ladies' home journal or a Good Housekeeping or something. And she was drawing sperm and the this and the egg. Oh, okay. All right. Anything else? Nope. Any other questions? Nope. Okay. Anytime. All right. And then later on, I said, now how does that, and I thought about it, I said, now how does that sperm how do they meet? That's the next one. Sat down, explained the whole thing. Didn't use any funny word, no penis, vagina, the whole bit. Okay, I got it. And acted like it was nothing. Acted like it was nothing. Like if this is normal, right? Oh, okay. You got that? Of course. Then one day I was watching something, I forget what it was. It was some movie. And the guy, the father said, how do I say this? The father, or the mother says to the father, honey, yeah, I've got good news. What is it? We're going to have a baby. We are. And I went immediately to my mother and says, what's this about? Does he not remember having sex with her? Why is he surprised? And at the time, it makes sense. If you think about it, it's like, that's a good question. As well, because it doesn't always take. Okay. And sometimes people don't have sex just to have babies. What do you mean? Well, they have it is because it feels good. Oh, okay. You didn't tell me about that. I said, well, you didn't ask. And she always told me things incrementally. And we always knew this. Always knew it. There was never any kind of a remember that story about the guy's looking out the window with his son, and these two dogs are just tearing it up. And the kid said, Daddy, what are they doing? He said, oh, God, this is not the way I wanted to do it. I wanted to have these stories about falling in love and praying to God and praying for a baby and this. Well, I'll make something good. Well said. You see, kid, the dog on top, yeah, he's hurt. And the one at the bottom, he's taking him to the hospital. And the kid says, ain't that just like life, Dad? You try to help somebody and they fuck you. I'm sorry. I had to say it. One of my favorite jokes. Because when we talk about still to this day, with all the stuff we talk about, AI and this and that and kids and Epstein and trans and all this stuff, when it comes time to rudimentary, basic stuff, marriage and responsibility and morality, clueless, absolutely clueless. We are complete and totally clueless. And that's why I love all this stuff. I love all this wonderful talk, and I appreciate what Charlie did, and I appreciate that. And I think he's terrific. But the moral of the story was, Charlie, you should have spent less time worrying about her sex life, and the fact that you married a nut, and you knew, and I'll bet you anything. Candace even said, who was that one who wanted him? Remember that? There was some woman who really was, and he wanted her instead. You know, she did that just because this is get back to Erika. And Erika said, what do you mean? Whoa, who was this other one? Yeah, Charlie had that other woman who he was really crazy about. Really? I don't know about that. Who is that one? It's just like, you know who Andrew was crazy about? Prince Andrew? Koo Stark. Remember her? Remember Randy Andy? Koo Stark. That's the one he wanted. There was another one too. Didn't Harry have someone he was crazy about, some woman? For years, wanted her. And Chuck always liked Camilla, even though, whatever that was about. So that was something that they never kind of got over. And that's the thing. It was very interesting. So Candace is telling these stories. I don't know who he's talking to, this young influencer or this person, but it was very good. And Candace even said, he goes, he was like a little brother. And you could tell Candace is like emotionally, not mentally maybe, but experientially. Candace is, listen, I don't know Candace, but Candace is no shrinking violet, okay? She's not, she knows what she's talking about. And she was kind of telling him like, Charlie, no, Charlie, no. And it was like, Charlie was just, maybe he was trying to not hook up, I shouldn't say that term, but maybe he was trying to be with Erika, excuse me, with this other woman, so Erika would get mad. I don't know. Who knows? Or maybe with Erika to make this one mad. And that's so childish. That's so like grade school. See, there's a little bit of emotional infantilism. He was a juvenescent. He was puerile. He was sophomoric, very, very base in a lot of his thinking. Very, very, grade schoolish, which is okay. But listen, do me a favor. If you got any youngins out there, men and women and all that stuff, I want you to tell them something. Number one, when it comes to sex, listen to me. Listen to Grandpa. You're in no hurry. Number one. Number two, it's the emotional part. You think this is, okay, yeah. This is terrific. Okay. Yeah, you think it's just like, this is going to be easy. Okay. You are going to go through something that is going to be, for your first time, primordial, primeval, atavistic, evolutionary, mammalian, hormonal, serotonin. Woo, you're going to be, you don't know what you're talking about. That's what we need to talk about. But they never discuss that. They never talk about the emotional part of it. They never do that. They talk about other stuff too. And pregnancy, of course, is the most important part. Yes, and disease. They always talk about the disease. You can, it's funny about that. If you talk to some people, they say, we've had it's true. Sometimes like in emergency rooms, they have more gonorrhea and all this stuff. But most people that you meet never got the first STD, from chlamydia to the clap to the drip to anything else. Never. Most people never got into an accident. Most people have never been involved in crimes. Most people never died in a car accident. But we still wear seatbelts and we still do all that stuff. So believe it or not, most people, things are a lot less likely than you think. However, when you're explaining this to a young person, you're going to tell them, be very careful. See, it's a weird thing. We used to have an office not too far from here. And there was this, it would stop at every floor. And the office we were in at the time was a kind of it was like a fertility clinic from one of the hospitals. It was like 5-6 floors, and you stopped at every floor. And every floor was packed with people, packed IVF, spending fortunes, women trying, couples trying desperately to have children, trying. It's like, wow, this baby thing must be really tough. Then you walk outside, you look at Central Park, there's 25 million people. It's like, apparently it's not that big. It's very easy. Go to Mexico City, they don't know what to do. And then yet in Japan, it's dropping. So isn't it funny how you look at things from various perspectives, how things are? The bottom line is to balance things, my friend. Keep an open mind, understand, and do not forget what I was saying. Two things. Number one, I want you to watch the rise of Cat Williams. I know people are saying, what? Cat Williams is like KRS-One. He is prophetic. He is oracular. He is Delphic. He is the voice. This is the guy we want on our team. He's the one. Get him. He's he says things sometimes in a rather, shall I say, urban street version, peppered with every kind of, what's the word? Every kind of profanity you can imagine. But he's so right. He's so right. That roast he did with Kevin Hart, his Club Shay Shay, watch what's going on. Kanye is too out there. Kanye has his moments of lucidity and then loses it. You know what I mean? He just can't. Nick Fuentes has his moment and then goes off into a tangent because he's basically a troll and he knows that. But look at the idea of Cat Williams and Candace. Not because they're black. There's nothing to do with it. They are revolutionaries. Revolutionaries. After that, Tucker. More pro forma, less frightening, but just as deadly. Just as deadly. We're in the middle, my friends, of a revolution. A revolution and also a reformation. And there are people right now who don't understand what's going on. The first thing is going to be when you start to see the results of the midterms, and you also start to see when people like you and me pull away from the Republican Party. When we go for a reform party, like Brexit, something like that. That's what's going to happen. Because I've had it. There is nobody who is speaking my mind. Our country is in absolute dire need from infrastructure. I'm sure everybody watching right now has no potholes in your town, no problems with infrastructure, bridges and dams and buildings, and you've got all the firemen you need and all. There's no problem. You're great. And I'm sure your property taxes are not high enough. And if he put any amount of attention that we have on this, keeping America first, it would be a different story. And that was Trump in 2016. I don't know what we're seeing right now. I don't know what this is. And to sit there and have Marco Rubio, that twit, tell China, you better watch it, you're going to pay the consequences. Do you know who these people are? Do you have any idea what's going on? Do you know what the Belt and Road Initiative? There is a watch. I saw Pepe Escobar on with Judge Napolitano. Napolitano is superb. Superb. Watch him. Oh my God. It's never been more relevant. And they showed this rail system from West Iran all the way to East China. If you were to travel it continuously, it would take you 15 days to travel this. Everything, they are connective between Azerbaijan and France and Spain, and Strait of Hormuz is nothing. And the Bab el-Mandeb, and who is it? The Saudis trying to work through the Red Sea. We'll see about that. But we live in a country right now where we've got Fox News who never looks at a map. Never looks at a map. Oh, you've got somebody who's got some totong who's there walking around saying, hey, we can get some Chinese food in Beijing. Oh, look, I'm great. Kill me. Look, there's a robot. It's like, these people are children. They're retarded. They're missing the point. I don't know what to tell them. I have so given up. But when it comes time to vote, I'm not going to be there with them. I'm done. I'm finished. I'm through. Nobody's listening to me. Nobody cares about me. Nobody. There's a lot on your plate right now and a lot going on. And it's very, very difficult. I don't want to throw too much at you because this Erika stuff is fun as hell. But remember, she's going away. You know that, right? I don't know when it's going to come. I don't know if they're going to say, look, we just have to do it. The donors are screaming, you're killing us. You're just killing us. They don't even talk about us anymore. They're canceling, additions and chapters, and we can't raise a buck because you won't shut your mouth. And everything you say is a joke and they're laughing at you. And by the way, that also goes to these little pixie tarts running around, these little boys who I don't even know what they're about. So what happens is when they go away, what's the next subject? It's going to be Tyler. And look at that Murdaugh case in South Carolina. Look at that. They gave him a new trial. They could do it with Todd. People say, do you really think he would do that? Yes. They will either acquit him or give him a new trial. Absolutely. And I don't want him to do another trial. I want him to be, he's not there. So we have a lot in our plate, my friend. Okay? But remember, the people that we always respect, we always thank, seriously, for the great people out there, part of our team. Candace, better, smarter than ever. Tucker has been superb. The folks who are the great, the Barons and others and the Collins and the Freddos and everybody else, and they're wonderful. But also think about the next realm of this. What's the next chapter? Because I don't want to see that genius and that intellectual firepower misplaced. Because what's most important now is we're going to have to take over the world. Anybody with me on that one? You don't think we're just going to talk about Erika for the rest of our lives, do you? No. It's good for, listen, nothing wrong with that. Remember, a newspaper, theoretically, they've had the sports section and the crossword puzzles and the local and the weather and the cartoons. There's a lot of different areas that we discover and that we investigate in the pursuit of our lives. And this is part of it. So just remember this. Just remember how this thing works. This is big stuff. And I'm telling you right now, do not let Charlie's death be in vain. I want to get to the bottom of that. Remember, this is fun stuff. That's where the issue is. That's where the issue is. And wait till you see what Numbnut says. Wait till you see what she says. So my friends, I want to thank you. Thank you for your kindness. Make sure you like this video. Thank God also. Thank you so much for being so kind to my beloved last night, Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. Make sure you follow her. Make sure you follow her and find this sign-up sheet or this form, so to speak, this information PDF that you can sign and be a part of, because we cannot forget and turn our back on what's happening to kids. Anyway, I love you. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And whatever you do, my friends, I always say to comment as you see fit.